This bacon wrapped asparagus is the perfect side dish to any holiday meal. It is simple to make, but it is so beautiful on a platter or on a holiday spread. So follow along and I will show you step by step how to make this holiday classic. Welcome back. I'm Jill with thecarefreekitchen.com, and this is my recipe for bacon wrapped asparagus. And there's no need to write the instructions down. You can just simply click that link in the description and it will take you to my recipe, and you can print that recipe off really easily. So just sit back, follow along, and I'll show you how to make this holiday classic. Okay, so for the ingredients, this is what you're going to need. So for the asparagus, I have 2 bundles here, and it depends on how many people you're feeding, but I have 2 bundles, and then I have some salt, I have some olive oil. I like using olive oil with this, but avocado oil will do too. And then I have some garlic powder. You can also use minced garlic. Today though, I don't have any minced garlic, so I'm using garlic powder. And then a little bit of Parmesan, and the grated Parmesan works great, or the shredded. You can decide which one you want. And then I have bacon, and you just don't want the thick bacon. You can use regular bacon or even thin bacon. We're going to use that to wrap the asparagus. Okay, so for your asparagus, I love buying asparagus first thing in the spring as soon as it comes to the market. It is one of my favorite vegetables, and this is my favorite way to prepare it. So with your asparagus, you're going to need to chop the end of it off here. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is rinse our asparagus, make sure it's nice and clean. Yeah. All right, on our asparagus, you want to cut the ends off, and you can usually, it's pretty easy to see where it's crisp and where it needs to, I would guess we need to cut off about 1.5 inches on those. So I am just going to cut that a little bit, and that will keep the stem from being too woody on the end. So it's nice and tender. And then if you want to store your asparagus, you can always put it in a little bit of water in a container, and it keeps it nice and crisp and fresh. But I think this is probably about as much as we're going to need. So for the asparagus, I like to just set it in a baking dish, and then I like to drizzle it with just a little bit of olive oil. And this is going to help it roast up really nice. There we go. And then to that, I am going to salt it, and it depends on how much salt, it depends on how much asparagus you have, but just salt it as if you were going to eat it, just regular. And then you can use minced garlic, or I like to use garlic powder as well. And if I were to guess, it would probably be about 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And then probably that much black pepper as well. There we go. And now I'm just going to mix this up with my hands, and that will coat all of the asparagus with the pepper and the salt and the garlic powder. And then also I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese to this. Perfect. And then we are ready to wrap our asparagus. Okay, and then for the bacon, I am going to open this, and then I'm going to cut the bacon in half, and that should be enough to wrap each one of the pieces. So when you separate it, it's got a little bit of give there. So what I'm going to do, and I don't think I have enough room in here, so I'm going to put it on a baking sheet. But I will get 4 or 5 bundles of asparagus here. And this part is a little bit messy. I guess you could use gloves if you wanted to. But you just roll it up just like that. And then I like to put the straight end there, just tuck it in and set it down on the baking sheet, so that way it doesn't get more crispy than the other part of bacon. So I'm just taking about 5 stems of the asparagus and wrapping it and putting the free end down on the baking sheet. And one thing that I love about this recipe is that you can make it ahead of time and then just store it in your refrigerator. You can cover it with maybe some saran wrap and then just pull it out before your holiday dinner and cook it right before your guests come. It can even be made a day ahead of time. Okay, now we're going to bake these in a 425-degree oven for 12 to 15 minutes. And we want that bacon to crisp on top, and then we want the asparagus to be nice and tender. So here we go. I mean, that is sizzling and beautiful. All right, here are my bacon wrapped asparagus. The bacon is just a little bit crispy and golden on the edges, and the asparagus is cooked to perfection and seasoned to perfection. This is an excellent side dish for your Easter dinner or your Christmas dinner or anytime you need a little bit of a fancy side. This is my go-to. And another thing I really love about this is that you can have just like one little bundle per person. So it's really easy to estimate how many of these to make for your holiday meal. All right, and I'm going to try one of these little pieces of asparagus. It has garlic on there and then salt and pepper and the tip is just a little bit crispy and it has a little bit of that bacon flavor to it. You can cook these for a little bit longer if you like your bacon crispy, but I like just the edges crispy and one of the best side dishes, hands down. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Carefree Kitchen. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow me here, and I will show you all kinds of fun and easy recipes that your family will love. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.